has learned, she's read, she's applied, and she's ready to impress you. She's impressed me the last 3.5 years that she's been learning about birds. So, I present Miss Kayla Parry. Thank you.
Alright, so as you all now know, I'm Kayla Parry. I've been bird watching for roughly 3.5 years. I lost track now. This morning I heard a kestrel in the neighbor's yard. I like kestrels, they're fun. Saw the #1 quiz bird today too. Birds are starting to migrate through. Good time for birds. Lovely day too. Bird watching this morning. You know, when it comes to identifying birds, what we usually want to look for is color. You know, orange and blue and white, whatever color the bird is. That's what we want to know. And if you look at the great horned owl and a song sparrow, both of these birds can be described as brown and white. However, you look at the birds and they look nothing alike, even though their colors are fairly similar. So other things to look for when you're trying to identify a bird would be tail shape, the bill shape, body shape and posture, behavior, head patterns, field marks, wing bars, voices and song, and in my opinion, one of the greatest things about birds is also one of the most challenging and also the worst. They are extremely variable. Never no two individual birds will ever look exactly the same. Each is completely unique, has its own personality and its own individual appearance. So back to tail shape. We have the notched tail of the American goldfinch, the forked tail of our barn swallow, a rounded tail on the ever common and sometimes annoying blue jay, a pointed tail on the modo or horned dove, and a square tail on cedar waxwing, which is an actually fairly common bird of our area, though a lot of people may not have heard of it. Then we move on to bill shape. Every different species of birds has a unique bill shape. Bill shape normally goes with what the bird eats. Like if they eat fish, like this great blue heron, it will have a sharp pointed beak made for stabbing at the fish. Then we have a short, thick, but sharp bill for seed crackers, like this female brown-headed cowbird. And, of course, there's the needle thin and long for sucking nectar of the hummingbird. And if you watch the hummingbird as it feeds, you can actually sometimes see its tongue going up and down as it laps up the nectar. Something I found never gets old. Very entertaining. We've got a grackle, which has a thick pointed bill like the brown-headed cowbird, and sometimes it will also eat seeds, but it's also big on berries and insects. Then we have ducks. Ducks have an interesting shaped bill. I had a very hard time coming up with a way to describe a duck's bill. They're slightly hooked, thin, thick, and uniquely shaped, and in the wood duck's case, for diving after fish. Other ducks are dabblers, which means they never go completely underwater. They'll simply tip up with their tail sticking out, and they'll nibble on the plants that are on the bottom of the water. Divers, however, will actually dive underneath the water, and some can actually stay underneath the water for like 2 minutes, which is very impressive. And they will go after fish, crustaceans, saumon, animals like that. Then there's body shape and posture. We have our WBNU, or white-breasted nuthatch. Very good bird to look at for body shape and posture. This bird often is seen climbing trees going down, which is an extremely unique behavior in birds. Nuthatches are pretty much the only bird that you will see going down. Those woodpeckers and creepers will also climb around on the trees, but only the nuthatches go down. There's also this leucistic mallard that we see here. And ducks hold themselves at kind of a horizontal, but they're very thick, very stocky bird, fairly short tail, medium length of neck. Then there's this kingfisher that we have here. Now they dive in after a fish from hovering above the water, but they hold themselves very differently from ducks when they're on land. They will sit upright in trees with their big bushy crest and look around for any movement they might see in the water, like a fish. The robin, a very common bird around this area, but it's got a very heavy set body, a fairly short tail, and a round, point, stocky head, which is pretty unique actually in bird. This shape that you'd see in a robin would also be seen on other thrushes, which a robin actually is part of in that family. So birds and families will have similar body shapes and postures, but each species will have its own individual, and again, individuals might be a little different. Like if they are lame in one leg, or there have also been instances where the bird will only have one leg, and that would change the way it would hold itself and how it behaves. Here we have a red-tailed hawk, which is one of the most common raptors in our area. They balance on wire, so they're often seen tipping, especially if it's windy. But for the most part, they like to hold themselves at kind of a vertical angle. They've actually got a decently long tail, especially you can see in this picture. And they've got big feet with talons for catching their prey. Behavior is one of the most helpful aspects in identifying birds. At least I find it is. A lot of birds develop personalities, like hummingbirds, for instance, will be all hovery and chittery and very actually friendly in a way. Starlings, which I have up here, are an invasive species, and they usually flock and come in big numbers. And they will also chase off other birds and be kind of a bully. Tugus are almost never seen single, turkey vultures. And their actually official name is turkey vulture. Buzzards refer more to hawks, actually. So, turkey vultures, they're often seen soaring, very rarely